How y'all doing now? It's time for old Dot Booger's pick of the week. Before I get to talking about some of my recent listening highlights and lowlights, I just wanted to give a big shout out and a hug to my good buddy Sam Orange. I love you now. Now let's get on with Dot Booger's pick of the week. First up, we got the soundtrack to Hell's Angels 69. When you see something like this, you know, in the record store, you say like, oh boy, Jack, it's a motorcycle soundtrack. This is going to be awesome. Well, let me tell you what, dude. If you like mild, like rock, sort of blues inspired, forgettable music and corny songs, then this one's right up your alley, Jack. I haven't seen this film, but like I think they messed up at the pressing plant, and I might have gotten a disc that had like the soundtrack to a corporate training video that the motorcycle company put out for, you know, old boys to watch so they act right when they come to work at the motorcycle plant. And then we got the happy, youthful sounds of the guitar Ramblers under the direction of Jack Marshall. That's old Jack Marshall that wrote the Monsters theme now. So, you know, you got this youthful, happy group of youngsters that plays the guitar, but they just kind of ramble around. They need some direction. So they got this Columbia record under the direction of Jack Marshall. And, you know, it's got a good sound to it. They do some cool studio tricks like doubling acoustic 12-string guitar with electric guitar on some of the melody leads. And there's like a big variety of guitar songs on here. There's a cool cover of Dick Dale's Surf Beat on here. But all in all, it just kind of leaves something to be desired. There's just not much memorable guitar licks there. There's not much there that would keep me wanting to come back and listen to this. So back to the trade pile it goes for some other old nerd, old boy to find and listen to and maybe be more happy and youthful in their outlook of it. Now, we got old Sleepytime Gorilla Museum of Natural History. That's the name of the album now. You know, recently I listened to their newest album, Last Human, and I loved it. It was a lot to take in on the first listen. This is probably, for this album, the third time I'm listening to it, and it's really catching on. It's still a lot to take in for the first time, but man, I love this band. I got to see them play live last week, and boy, that show just blew the roof off for me. I think that was the best show I've seen since I was in high school. I was so stoked. And there was a great local band, a metal, sort of symphonic metal band called Anaretta, which was like really impressive. I would not want to follow them on stage at all. So props to Sleepytime Gorilla Museum for bringing it to the show and bringing a killer band, and also Fallen Fables was on that bill. Gonna listen to some of their albums over the next few weeks, and I'm gonna tell you about it. Now, if you get a chance to check out old Sleepytime Gorilla Museum live, you best go and do it, son. You don't want to sleep on it because you're gonna regret it. Now, they may be kind of scary looking now. They might look like they gonna sacrifice an old boy or old girl on stage to please old Pazuzu, but they nice old boys and a nice old girl in Sleepytime Gorilla Museum. They play that music, make old Dot Booger smile, make old Dot Booger get carried away and hoot and holler and act a fool a little bit. And they're nice to old Dot Booger. They don't pick on old Dot Booger. They didn't pick on him when old Dot Booger met him. They just give me a hug, give me a smile now. Sleepytime Gorilla Museum. Need to look at them now. And next up, some recent thrift store finds. 2 Martin Denny albums. Oh man, I was so happy to find me some Martin Denny in good condition. I usually buy any old Martin Denny albums if I can, if they're cheap and if they're in good shape. And these were both. Now, one of these is even a promo copy. This is a promo copy. These are like mid-60s Martin Denny albums, and I'm afraid old Doc Booger's just not following Martin Denny after his Exotica phase, and I guess after Exotica had sort of petered out with the public, artists like Martin Denny had to try things a little different now. Like, you got the versatile Martin Denny. What if I don't want him to be too versatile now? I like what he had going on. I mean, these aren't terrible. They're not bad, but there's just not. It's just missing that mojo that his earlier sort of Exotica stuff had. That stuff seemed to have a lot of creative energy and fun, and this just sounds like he's doing sort of popular repertoire. And I mean, they're mixing in some other instruments, and it just sort of sounds like a kind of bland, easy listening album. I'm sorry, old Martin Denny. And there's some good stuff in there. Maybe some good percussion, a good song or two here and there. But for the most part, I think I'm just going to pretend like Martin Denny's career ended tragically early at the end of his best Exotica albums. Now, then you got old Henri Breuer and Jean-Jacques Perrey with a Happy Moog song. This album is great. This is amongst my favorite Moog albums, and I think it's some of Jean-Jacques Perrey's finest work. I mean, you can't really ask for more if you're into Moog albums. You know, sometimes you buy Moog albums that are supposedly Moog themed, and they'll just have like a synthesizer voice playing the melody and an orchestra backing it or something. This isn't like that now. You got like the full meal deal of Moog covering the gamut of sounds, and they're playing really awesome songs, mostly original songs written by Jean-Jacques Perrey and Henri Breuer, and it's a good time. Jack, if you listen to this and you're in a bad mood, and at the end of it, if you're not smiling, then there's just no hope for you. You're a miserable, sad, sorry human being now. And we got old Rene and his orchestra with Compulsion to Swing. And this is a kooky one. It's kooky, crazy. It's got a lot of pizzazz. It's just every bit as good as Riot and Rhythm, the other Rene album that I've listened to recently. This old boy deserves a high place in the space age sort of lounge music genre. And this is a killer album from start to finish. It's just got a lot of pizzazz. It's going to lighten up your cocktail party. You're going to be the hippest hep cat and groovy slinker on the block if you blast this one out, Jack. Then we got the pick of the week, soundtrack to Teenage Rebellion, Jack, produced by Mike Curb and probably co-written by Mike Curb. And you got some Davy Allen and probably Davy Allen and the Arrows playing on here. And this is just action-packed. This has all the things that I want out of a 60s exploitation soundtrack. You got your sort of semi-socially conscious, sort of corny, lyrical pop rock, folk rock tune. You got your really heavy fuzz guitar freak out song. And you got your sort of pseudo world music, psychedelic vibe song. You even have your Moog synthesizer song on here, and you. And then you got your songs that are real educational, where they just lay down a real solid beat and some vamping on the instruments, and a real serious old boy comes on the air to tell you some serious educational matters.
Come over to a similar apartment in the village. Smoke a joint, burn a little grass.
And burn a little.
Hot party, roach party, mainliner, skin popping. Shoot some crystal. The language of the narcotic in marijuana use. The language of a large and ever-increasing number of teenagers. Starting in high school on Benzedrine and Dexedrine pep pills, it is not long before many soon graduate to marijuana, the teething biscuits to a whole generation of adolescent psyche.
Teething biscuits now.
And if
this is a good one. If you're a Mike Curb, Davey Allen, and the Arrows fan, I would say this is a must-have, Jack. It's almost as fun as the Mary Jane soundtrack, which I reviewed several weeks ago on the show. So, Teenage Rebellion. That about does it now. So until next time, say hi to your mama and them. Give them a hug for me. And call your mama and them. See how they're doing. Don't forget about them now. Make sure to roll up the windows in your car if it's going to rain. And don't look directly at the sun. It's going to hurt your eyes. Now, have a good one.